So lately, I've been getting a lot of complaints from Uber Eats workers and Uber Eats customers. So let me explain what kind of complaints I'm getting. From Uber Eats workers, I'm getting complaints about how customers are not tipping enough. And from customers, I'm getting complaints about how Uber Eats is really expensive. So, tipping. I always find tipping to be pretty stupid. Sometimes it is necessary, but for this day and age, it is a pretty stupid idea. So, tipping derived from the Great Depression back in the 20s or maybe the 30s. Back then, people worked for free because business owners cannot afford to pay their workers. And it happened in a restaurant where workers, they just work for free, and then the customers will tip them, and that would be basically their wage. And that's just how it goes. Like anyone with disposable income, all right, yeah, times are rough, but I have a lot of money, so I just give a little bit to the people that don't have any money at all. And that is how tipping came to be. It makes sense for that time. Like, if you have disposable income, just give some away. And if you're feeling generous, and that's how life worked. But then now, tip is just expected by default. Even if you give really bad service, oh yeah, I deserve 15% of whatever the food costs, which makes no sense. You're basically bringing food and eating utensils for basically 15% of the cut. If the thing is, the wage, like of Uber Eats workers, I'll be honest, the wage is pretty bad. You get paid like what, like 80 something cents per mile drive, and something cents per a minute of something else. I don't know. You basically make around $30 an hour, but then there's a situation of contracts where you have to pay like 30% of whatever you make, and then taxes and all the good stuff. And the thing is, it is the Uber Eats choice to work for Uber Eats. If you don't like the job so much, you can go out and get a better job or a higher paying job. And if you cannot find a better job, then that's all you're worth, essentially. People keep complaining about how Uber is not paying them enough. Ask for a raise. That's the most easiest way to deal with it. And they don't give you that raise, leave for a higher paying job. Or what? Can't find a higher paying job because you're unskilled? Yeah, that's gonna be the situation. Cannot just ask for a higher raise just because you think you deserve a higher raise. You have to earn a higher raise by finding a higher paying job. That is how people make more money. Let's just give you an example. Alright? Say you the example is, I don't even need to give an example. That's pretty common sense. You cannot just expect more money when you sign for this amount of money. And that's what pretty much Uber Eats workers are saying. They want more money than they sign for, which I can get it. You want more money, you want to make more, that's fine. But then you signed up for this job expecting this much, and now people are backing out of their own word. And it's sad. And I'm not only going to talk about Uber Eats workers, but also the customers. Typically, people that use Uber Eats services, they are poor. Now, the thing is, Uber Eats is a luxury service. If you're making low dollar, you shouldn't even be using it, because you're basically paying food for two people when you're only buying for one. There's a whole lot of process that goes with Uber Eats, and people are thinking, whoa, why am I paying $5 for delivery? Why am I paying $2 for service fee? Well, the thing is, this service is not free. And people need to make money. People complain about like the reason why they don't tip is because the service is expensive. Yeah, it's expensive. Uber Eats never claims to be a low cost delivery service. It is a luxury service only for the wealthy people. But then people just get the idea that this service is for poor people. No, it's not. Poor people work at the job. so rich people can have a better, more luxurious life having food delivered to them. But if the reason why tipping is necessary right now, because the economy is kind of bad and it makes sense to tip during this time. But if you're poor, you shouldn't be using Uber Eats, because again, it's a luxury service. It's not meant for poor people to use. People don't get that Uber Eats is, it is expensive, because first things first, right? Let's just say your food, it's going to take 45 minutes to come to you. You got to account for the person driving there, which takes typically around 15 minutes. The person to pick up the food, they had to line up. They had to wait for like 5 minutes, and then they had to drive to your location, which is 10 to 15 minutes. That's like 30 minutes of time. And then you also have to account for gas and profit for the company, aka Uber Eats, and for the worker, the contractor, the Uber Eats worker. The company needs a profit. The worker needs a profit. And no one works for free. But for some reason, customers believe that companies and workers should be working for free for some reason. Like, they don't need to be paid. They just like to do this for free. I cannot wrap my head around that. You have to, not only do you have to pay for your own food, but you have to pay for the company's service, and you have to pay the worker. They have to eat. They have to make a living somehow. But it's just people find it so expensive. Like, no, of course, you're paying for 3 things, for 3 different types of service. But people just go like, it's too expensive. It doesn't deserve my money. No. Well, then, if it's so expensive, then go buy your own food. No one's forcing anyone to buy food from Uber Eats. People are just lazy. They should go out and buy food. If you're not going to cook, if you're not going to do anything, you should go out and buy your own food. Unless you're making a lot of money, then yes, Uber Eats makes sense. It saves you time. And it saves you a bunch of trouble. But I don't know, just that people don't understand this thing. It seems so common sense, but people just don't understand the idea that people don't work for free. And the thing is, Uber Eats drivers, they make less than minimum wage sometimes, so you could kind of sympathize with them that, maybe they do need the tip. But I don't know. In conclusion, if you're an Uber Eats worker and you think you deserve more money, find a higher paying job. And if you can't find a higher paying job, then that means that's all you're worth. You're not really worth much if you're working for Uber Eats. And if you're a customer and you cannot afford to tip people during an economic crisis, then don't use Uber Eats and go out and buy your own food and save yourself, I don't know, $20 to invest in your future or something. I don't know. I'm just rambling. Thanks for watching the video. See ya.